Hey guys, what is going on? It's Jay Campbell, the author of the definitive TRT manual and of course the founder of TRTrevolution.com and the TRT Revolution podcast. And I'm joined today in studio by my good friend, second time interviewee, Russ Scala. And Russ is an amazing dude. This guy is a pioneer in the things that he and I are involved in. You know, he owns the Scala Precision Health Institute in Florida. He also has a very big, widely recognized YouTube channel, Precision Health. And Russ is, like I said, again, a pioneer. He started off as an EMT, and then, has gotten off and branched off and works with a bunch of cardiac people, both surgeons and doctors. So Russ, man, how are you, brother? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jay, how you doing today?
I'm awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on today. We're going to definitely jump into some stuff. I know, you've been on before and you talked a little bit about your background, but just for people who don't know you, didn't see the first show, just talk a little bit about your bio.
Yeah, before I went to graduate school when I was a kid in my 20s thinking I was bulletproof, I worked in the emergency room, became a paramedic, ended up getting attached to the SWAT team, trying to save lives and not realizing the collateral damage it was doing to my metabolism. So from there, I went on to become a triathlete. I switched my community, to a healthy community, and I ended up damaging my body even more racing. So I kind of immersed myself in the high stress environments. Then I went to graduate school, got my master's, and focused on what we're doing, the biochemical individuality of each person. And I focused on the aging workforce and designing new treatment protocols. So my evolution has always been in medicine for the last 40 years. I'm still fascinated with the metabolism as you are, as I was when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And being with those different groups and being on the tip of the spear, you just became an early adapter, sort of like what you've done with the TRT Revolution.
That's awesome, man. So jump in some other points here real quick. So how is weight loss, body fat loss, weight loss, how is it tied to addictions?
Yeah, addictions, once you're on an opiate and your intestinal tract is out of balance and you're mining nutrients from your own tissue, your HPA axis shuts down. And you pretty much go into, when your thyroid isn't working and your hormones aren't working, whether you're a woman or a man, you start mining muscle mass and you go into like an accelerated sarcopenia state. And then you're like skinny fat. If we were to do an IDEXA scan, we would see the muscle mass starting to shrink. So and I know a lot of women that they like the heroin because they, believe it or not, they stay thin. But when you look at them, there's no muscle mass, I mean, I don't say anything, I'm like you. It's like, I see this shit in my head. I'm going, fuck me.
People are so fucking whacked out, man. The standards of society, it's just, you're right. I mean, Hollywood reinforces the cultural thing with women, they have to be thin. It's not about health. It's just being thin. I mean, anybody who knows anything about Hollywood knows that almost every one of those models, literally their diet it's the cocaine diet. As obesity keeps rising, this is on the front page of the LA Times today. I'll send you guys this. As obesity keeps rising, more Americans are just giving up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, they don't have a toolbox. It's like all of a sudden you're in the real estate business. You and I want to build a house instead of using wood, we're using Legos.
And Russ, they can't go to their doctor. What
okay.
the fuck is their doctor going to do?
Well, here's another thing that I like, and you know this. I answer questions for about 2 hours a night, and I piss off a lot of people. But what the fuck?
That's okay, man. That's why you're on my show.
Yeah, you do too. I know. But listen to this: these regular people that have cured diabetes on these ketogenic websites, regular folks got 10, 20,000 people, and I'm watching in real time what Eric Topol said. So, dude, that's what I think is going to change this. You got Wolverine. The Hugh Jackman doing the ketogenic diet. You got LeBron James dropping weight.
Tons of people, dude. I mean, I'm blown away. I mean, again, we could talk all day. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. Maybe we should, but dude, the average doctor who is working with diabetics is literally still telling them to eat fruit, Russ.
I know. Yeah, and so no, I get it. So No, I know exactly. So we know we live there. So for our sanity,
oh my God,
that's why I answer questions on Facebook to these groups with 20,000 people. They're basically saying to the doctor, "Fuck you."
Right.
My community is gonna help me lose weight, and they put before and after pictures up. Right. So I think from what I'm seeing, that's changing really quickly. It really is.
Yeah, it's like it's like crowdsourcing the solution, to, like you said, to a tribe of people that has already adhered to the practice, the foundational principles, and have real world quantifiable results.
Yeah, with 10,000 people, the guys like you and I are going to bubble to the surface, and they'll say, oh, well, listen, this is what I found out today. The Aborigine, the Maasai, and this other group eat nothing but protein and fat. And I'll throw something up there and go, here's the mitochondria on a cellular level. Guess what, folks? When DNA unzips, you need essential fatty acids, you need essential amino acids, but there's no such thing as essential carbohydrates.
Right.
Now, you get them thinking. So you drip the science slowly, and they go, holy shit. But the only thing, these people that learn this stuff, they go out into the community. Like anybody that's obese, when they go on a ketogenic diet, it's very lonely for them. You get that.
Right.
Now it's hard for me to eat at parties. Now,
right. It's all comfort and emotional. Right.
Exactly. So, but good. It's changing. It's huge. It's changing in real time.
It's funny. I'm glad. Let's stay there. I'm glad you said that. There's no essential carbohydrates. I mean, so I'll put my tinfoil hat on, and I know you go down these paths with me. You're in some groups that I'm in. How much of it is truly, though, engineered from the box foodstuffs, from the GMO, from all of this shit? I mean, to literally keep the public docile, to keep them slaved down, eating and taking the pharmaceutical agents. I mean, is it, again, I hate to sound like, a conspiracy theorist, but I'll put that hat on whenever I need to. I mean, is it literally just top down by design to keep the public docile, that's why they're feeding us? That's why this shit is happening.
I think I like when you go there. I just think I study the history where things fuck up. Okay. Ansel Keys, that started the Fat is Bad. He was a doctor that made K rations for the military. They put him in charge. They put him in charge back then, and he did the 7 Nations study, and he said fat caused heart attacks. That's when the dominoes started to fall.
Right.
So I don't know if it's as much as a conspiracy as putting our trust in one guy that just didn't have the right information.
Well, the same thing with the RDA, right? How many people know that the RDA was created by the Kellogg family?
There you go, great. Who was studying Kellogg's to stop masturbation, which I thought was neat. Right. I mean, this is
You're right. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a great point, because one person or one group then creates like this giant, Trumpian wall. I'll call it the Trumpian wall. And it then becomes this such hard facade of resistance that there's the inertia around it is like impenetrable. And you're right. It's like in science where the adoption model will not change. It doesn't matter how much truth they have, contrary to what their belief is. They have to uphold the model because that's the model.
No, exactly. And we know that pharmaceutical companies took over medical school training. Yeah. So when a doctor sees a patient, a screen drops in his head, symptom drug, symptom drug, symptom drug. I don't know if that's a conspiracy. It's just that, like I told you last time, say we had an investor that came to us and said, guys, Russ and Jay, I want you to open up a clinic. What are you going to do better than everybody else? And I would say, let me consult with Jay. And then I would go back to the guy, sort of like Shark Tank. I go, Jay and I are going to take care of cardiovascular disease, dementia, obesity, and diabetes at one center. And the guy's going to go, what are you guys going to do? I go, we're going to fucking lower insulin.
Right.
So what we're going to do? We're going to lower insulin at that center. Huh?
How are you going to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, so my point is, can you imagine a guy that wants to be in preventative medicine, a family taking their dad or their grandfather into our center? We get them on TRT, up their protein. Testosterone lowers blood glucose, lowers insulin levels. And I mean, that would be a home run. Okay.
So let me ask you this, and you're more qualified to answer this question than any doctor that I've interviewed or talked to. And I mean this, and to your credit, in all sincerity, is there any substance that you know of that does more beneficial things to the human body? And again, not just males, females too, than testosterone.
No, it's testosterone, and this is where it is amazing. There's multifactorial things that testosterone does. I've used it on brain injury patients. I use it on addicts. It's multifactorial. There's testosterone receptors on our cell. But Jay, let's do something different than everybody else. Let's use testosterone as rehab in the HPA axis and not do what these other doctors are doing and just treating it in isolation.
Right.
That's it. Once we do that, it's a home run.
It's amazing. It's so true. And that is one of the things we talked about last night too. We can stay here for a second, is that what happens today, right? And this, and this is old hat, but it's still worth talking about. I would say 95% of men who present with a deficiency of testosterone, some sort of hormonal imbalance, probably have a thyroid imbalance, most likely too, probably have maybe some form of insulin resistance, already happening, long diet of eating processed foods and not exercising. So those three things, they go to their doctor and they say, Doc, I got no energy. I can't get it up. I feel like I need to take a nap at 1 o'clock. I've got brain fog. Almost 95% of those doctors, literally, immediately to the SSRIs and immediately to the ED meds. There's no evaluation beyond that because they don't make money. And B, if they do make money, they don't know enough about it. They're fucking scared shitless to start prescribing testosterone. Let's be honest. They can't even read the biomarkers for the goddamn panels that need to be pulled to even understand it, correct?
No, you're right. The doctors, 99.9% of them, 4,000 hours to become a physician, no training in nutrition or hormonal replacement therapy. There's a tsunami of guys out there that need help. They need to take care of their family. Guys got to put the shield up at work. There got to be dads. They got to be little league coaches, and we're not taking care of them. The testosterone, when it's above 500, protects the heart and the brain. This stuff is all going mainstream, and people are going to refuse. They're going to refuse what their doctors say and go get this treatment on their own. You're starting to see that. So the doctors are going to be insignificant, just like they are right now in Eric Topol's book. I'm not going to go. I am not going to go to a car mechanic.
You're absolutely right. Dr. Brett Osborne has said it. He said, listen, if people literally, modulated their hormones, obviously balanced them, lowered their insulin signal, through the use of metformin, reduction in carbohydrates, ketogenic diet, all that, and then looked at thyroid output and modulated that if there was need, hospitals would shut down.
Exactly.
It would literally go away.
Yeah, well, just think about what you and I just talked about. If you and I were on the Shark Tank and wanted to open up a center, Jay and Russ are going to take care of obesity, heart disease, dementia, and diabetes by opening up clinics that are going to focus on lowering your insulin level, where you're going to go in and you're going to have a coach, and we're going to shift your body into fat burning with the ketogenic diet. We're going to monitor keto levels. We're going to clean your gut up, and guess what? You're going to come off your SSRI. You're going to come off your insulin. You're going to come off your Plavix and all that other bullshit that you were taking. That's it. And you know what? Some entrepreneur, some Elon Musk is gonna pull the trigger on that. It has to happen.
You're right. It goes back to the medical schools. The pharmaceutical industries have taken them over. The research that they show them is all relative to SSRIs. And you know what? I want to talk to you about SSRIs because we talked about it a little last night. And I'll go down the darkest, deepest rabbit hole because I have family members that have been on these things and they're fucked, Russ.
I know.
They do shit to their brains. It's not beneficial. I don't give a shit what study people show me. I go by my experience watching and observing people who have been on these things for a decade or more. We both know they're fucking poison, dude.
Right.
They're doing things, like you said, to, the enzymatic pathways, the dendritic pathways. There's stuff going on in the brain that is being permanently altered from using this shit. And so even if you say to me, you feel better, I have to have my Prozac or I have to have my Wellbutrin, you cannot prove to me that you are actually getting better. It's like you said, you're developing, everything that you feel is a chemical dependency of that shit. And as you also said, this is where people fuck up, and no doctor knows this except, people that work with you. Your gut biome has now been crushed and permanently altered from that fucking poison, that toxin that goes through your body. And so you're not even in good health, even if you do feel good, correct?
No, you're right. And, and here's why I look at it. This really pisses me off, but here's what we keep doing what we're doing. For Jay Campbell and Russ Scala's sanity, I just got to take you back when I was a paramedic on a really bad auto accident, dude. We got to walk by the people that are dying and go to the ones we can save, brother. Right. Or you know what? We could go crazy. Now, what you and I can do is that targeted marketing. Find the distribution channel or somebody like Brett Osborne, some other doctor that wants to pull the trigger with our skill set. And then all of a sudden we, or look at the guy that did Bigger, Stronger, Faster. Netflix and those companies need new content, man. I think you could do something better than Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Oh, a million times better.
Yeah, okay. So my point is there's a lot of opportunities out there for developing really cool content, and the distribution channel is the new media. Just something to think about. Folks, if you or a loved one gets diagnosed with some type of illness, go to TRT Revolution, come to the Russ Scala YouTube channel. When you hang that phone up and you got bad news, there are options for you that we can help you with.
Right.
That's it.
Awesome. So let me just stay there then. So for somebody in California, somebody in New York, somebody in Seattle, because you're in Florida, how would it work for somebody in California to be treated by the Russ Scala Precision Institute?
Well, Scala Precision Health, you could go to my website, Scala Precision Health. People fly in all the time to meet my doctors and to meet me. We send test kits out all over the United States.
Okay.
We work with, high-level folks that run major companies that just run into a wall. And we do a lot of the stuff that you do, Jay. We just take it to another level,
You guys, is it, and we've talked about this before, so forgive me for asking, but do you guys because people always ask me this, this, is this all pretty much out of pocket, or do you have insurance subrogation opportunities?
Yeah, that's the only downside. We could run some of the testing through insurance, but it's only out of pocket and It's expensive. And this is one reason I started the Russ Scala YouTube channel, so regular folks could go on my YouTube channel and then go tune their doctor up.
Right.